תודה לרב פורפ, תודה לפרופסור פרופ. אני חשבתי לתומי שעל השאלה הזאת לגבי אותו גולם שעשו להצטרף למניין, מכיר הרבה בתי כנסת שמחפשים בהם אנשים שמוכנים רק להתפלל ולא לדבר. זה יכולה להיות המצאה לא רעה. כמו שראינו, הרב פרופ הביא את ההיבטים ההלכתיים והפילוסופיים לפיתוח המחקרי שהציג פרופסור יעקובסון, והרב פרופסור טנדלר, ראש ישיבת פרו ופרופסור לאתיקה רפואית, נטוע בשני העולמות גם יחד. גם העולם של הפרקטיקה המדעית וגם של האידאה התורנית, ואני מתכבד מאוד להזמין את הרב פרופסור טנדלר להגיב לכל אשר שמענו עד כאן.
כבוד הרב פרופסור פרופ. My host today most likely is my son-in-law. His bright idea to involve me in this conference. I thank you for the opportunity. The Mezzer says in the Pasuk, Yaftel Kim Liyefes, Yishkol Voli Shem, Sheyu Devorov Shel Shem Nemorim, L'Rishon Shel Yefes. My suggestion today is that I would like to present the Devorov Shel Yefes, L'Rishon Shel Shem. Give you the sources. Let's speak about the major ethical issues in much of current research. Only a day or two ago, they announced in the paper the formation of sperm and ova from stem cells. There are far more halachic issues involved in that research than in the research of Professor Jacobson. And it's important to note that Baruch Hashem, we have now people who can analyze the impact of modern scientific research on the halachic standards that determine our existence as B'nai Torah. Luchos, the Medra says, were 6 tefachim by 6 tefachim. And the Medrash asks, Parshas Noso, Me'echon notal Moshe Karneho. Where did he get his rays of glory? Medrash continues that the Luchos were Tfachayim b'yad Hashem and Tfachayim b'yad Moshe and Tfachayim be'emtza u'misham notal Moshe Karneho. Are you stepping into the territory of the Rebbeinu Shloim or Moshe Rabbeinu? Key in this analysis are two concepts. One, to know there is a danger. Again, in the language of Chazal, Sefer v'Asayif Yodu Kruchim min Hashamayim. That's like a DNA molecule. A helix intertwined. It doesn't say Yodu min Hashamayim. It says Yodu Kruchim min Hashamayim. That concept is critical to let you know that there's a recessive gene in every activity of mankind. And that recessive gene, if the DNA Kruchim uncoils, can express itself. As long as it's counted by the Sefer, then the recessive gene is guarded, is covered, and causes no damage. But every human activity, the Chazal tell us, has a possibility of cheret. And every human activity, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us a sefer to allow us to function in that area without causing damage. Are we causing damage by this work? You'll excuse me, I have a little tight schedule today because a rich member of my community's grandson is being bar mitzvahed in Beit Shemesh. And that takes precedent over many other halachic issues. A key mokor, as many of you should know, is the Perasha Mishnayos Rambam in the 4th Perek of Psochim, where actually it's strange that the Rambam even comments on it, because the Rambam said Perasha Mishnayos is not a Mishnah. It comes to a Breise, not a Mishnah. Nevertheless, the Rambam saw fit to include it in his Perasha Mishnayos. Obviously, to let you know how important that concept is. The concept of Cheskio deciding among things that the Chazal agreed with him, Gira Rasmosoviv, asking for Kapora for his father, Kites Nachas Hanachoshes, to destroy that Avodah Zorah cult, the Nechushon cult, right? But then he's also Gona Sefer HaRefuos. And Rambam is concerned with what was the Sefer HaRefuos that Shlomo HaMelech wrote, that Cheskio HaMelech decided should not be made available to the public. And he offers certain possibilities. He doesn't know. Maybe it was a Sefer that taught people how to poison people. That's an acceptable reason for hiding it. Or maybe it was a sefer that led people to use all kinds of avodah zorah shtick, right? Nowadays known as homeopathy. Also acceptable. So what's not acceptable, he says, Ato shva hefsid ze hamamach. Ich yochsu lecheskio ma shein royo leyachis kamoso liruui hamon. Ulfidaton hakal b'mishubosh. They said, you know, why they hid the sefer? Because it was such a wonderful sefer. Who needed the Rebbeinu Shalom? Every disease had its treatment. Went to the sefer. No one had to say the Rebbeinu. Therefore, they hid it. Rambam says, if that's the case, when someone is hungry and goes to eat food, he gives up his B'emunah b'Hashem because now he has a treatment for his disease known as hunger. Nonsense. On the contrary, the individual thanks Kadosh Baruch Hu for the availability of something to help him when he's in need. Likewise, medicine is nothing more than food for those who need a special diet, a pharmacological input, not simply a dietary input. But from this Rambam, you realize that the Sefer HaRefuos had a potential for danger. He could teach avodah zorah. He could teach poisons. That's what's known today in ethics as dual-use challenge. Professor Jacobson is putting strange nucleotides into a DNA molecule. And what's coming out? Coming out an organism that never existed before. Never existed before. Certainly I don't have an immune system that may recognize it, because I existed before. You may be allowed to play God, because Kadosh Baruch Hu gave you permission to play God. go do some yitzira on your own. But it says, be careful, you can go ahead and work my fields, work my earth, but to protect it. Are you offering me or now a choice, like they quote Oppenheim on his work on the atom bomb, they asked him with Sofyomo, what's the bottom line? Good or bad? And that's after already we had the application of radioisotopes in medicine and so on and so forth. And he answered what in our language would be called, Lo midufsha flo mo'utzoch. I'd rather it didn't die. I'll give up the advances of medicine that the project gave us if I can only take away the danger of atomic warfare. Is that a question that has an answer in this work? That to me is one of the great ethical challenges. Today with the rise of terrorism, I know in America there's major effort to avoid this dual use challenge, to make sure that the work, for example, on the smallpox organism, it doesn't take much to mess up that organism so that all of you people, myself included, who are now immune to smallpox because we were inoculated, will not be immune to the next smallpox. Genetic research as applied to medicine, which is really the great hope of the work that Dr. Jackson was referring to make use of it for the benefit of mankind. That is already with a tainted history. The use of genes for treatment of disease has been tried. The work on the combined immune deficiency disease led to the production of leukemic cells, and the research had to stop. This is a major concern. The work on immune modulators, there are 8 people, all of them within a day or two, were in Sakolas Nefoshos. Why? These were the best top scientists we had. Maybe because Pope who says, you're stepping on my territory. Maybe you shouldn't. This is going to be, I think, the key ethical concern as this research progresses. How do you protect while at the same time you are trying to advance medicine? Let me share with you a chidush. I don't know how many of you are aware of the wonderful parish on the Chumash from Harishon, Yitzchak Amor, Akedas Yitzchak. Akedas Yitzchak in Parshas Nichovim, speaking about the Olo Ate Nitzova Yom Pulchem Mefei Hashem Alkeichem, and speaks about the Olo B'Shvuah that Am Yisrael accepted, lo not only Asher Yeshno Po, but also Asher Eino Po. In a moment, I think I brought along a copy. Just read a few lines, and you'll see what a real chidush that the Yitzchak Amor talks about synthetic genes. What's a synthetic gene? A gene that never existed before. A gene that was made after Sefer Bereshit was written. makes reference to the Novi Yecheskel and Perek Chof, where the elders of the people came and said, we want out. We don't want to be Jews anymore. What do you mean, we swore? How can a father that lived 2,000, 3,000 years ago, how can he impose a shua on me? But he asked himself, but the truth is, lo yushlam shum onesh nefesh haben mimasa av. How could it be? Oh, you tell me everybody was here, all the Nefashos were here, and nefesh doesn't get malchus, and nefesh doesn't get punished. Only a goof gets punished. Without a goof, there's no community. Nicocot comes up. I read this lines to you. It's in Nicocot, in Parshas Nicocot. Omnam ki vigati ein dvar hashu azos kemo shechoshu rabim. Vein kiyum v'nitzrius bevis Hashem yisalo v'avosom ima'uma azos tluyim b'chumrato. Aval hu kiyum v'dibuk tivi hechachi godol v'chazak mimenu lo yeshua bitulu b'shum tzad b'yin ba'olam. And repeats over again, Umashi is chayev hateva kol shenimtzus shelo liporish michayev. What does he say? At Atan Nitzovim, God didn't only make a shvua. He synthesized a gene and put it into where a new gene, a new species arose. Species called Jew. That species never existed before. Don't look like a species. That's why I don't know about the sugya that my great son-in-law spoke about klayim, whether you can talk about klayim and bacteria when we have trouble with speciation. Don't know what a species is. As I said, in the old days when I began studying microbiology, I still was aware that many people, including Professor Cohen at Columbia where I studied, held that there were no species in bacteria. It was all part of phylum chaos, because they could change from one to the other and therefore it doesn't mean it. What he's saying is, after Parshas Nitzobim, after Atal Nitzobim, before they came into Eretz Yisrael and took a shua, he didn't take a shua. He took a shua, sure, but I know the Kodesh Baruch Hu says that you can't impose a shua on later generations. Therefore, you know what I did? When you agreed at that time, I made a genetic change in you, so that every child born thereafter is bound by that genetic change which commits you to Kodesh Baruch Hu. That, I believe, is why it's possible to take someone who for years was far from Kodesh Baruch Hu and bring him back to Kodesh Baruch Hu. All it means is you activate a gene that was inactive for a period of time. There's much more to be said. He said, there's a problem, and that is, I don't think the salary is Rob in the Kilas Munson. Therefore, I have to be careful. They shouldn't think I'm not doing my duties. Thank you very much.